What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Super Otaku Show. What's up, everybody? Now we're actually back with another episode of the Super Otaku Show. How you guys doing? As always, I am Bear, joined by Taylor-made Otaku. Taylor, how you doing? Oh no, why is everybody muted? Or I can't hear you? Did I knock my headphones out? I don't know what I did. I can't hear you guys. My audio's gone.
I had turned my mic off.
That'll do it. That'll goof it all the time.
You told us to mute ourselves, so I was like, quick, easy. And then he started talking, and I forgot that I muted it.
Guys, we're professionals.
We are professionals. We do this for a living.
Oh, man. Anyway, how are you, Taylor? Now that we've lost your entire intro to Mike, technical difficulties.
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
And we will be shortly joined by AA Run. He is, I think, AFK. I think his fiance called him away and right before we went live. So we'll get to him in a little bit. Sharif is, of course, missing again this week. We can't find him. We've tried putting his face on a milk carton, but apparently that's not a thing anymore. So if you guys
dog sold him on eBay.
You know, he should not have named his dog Harley.
Oh, that's not why. She was hungry, and he was like, you're on a schedule, and she's like, I'm gonna sell your ass on eBay. I ain't seen him since.
It's a sad way to go, man. We've lost too many friends that way. You think they'd
dog sell you out?
Sad life. But anyway, I guess since Aaron's gone, we could just chat about what we've been watching, what we've been into this week. Oh, look, it's Aaron. My Roman half, Aaron, is here. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, we started the podcast.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't waiting for you. You were gone.
Okay, this is important. No, hold on. Wait, hold the phone. Hold on. Hold up.
Okay, holding phone.
Hold on.
It's very reflective.
I'm popping on. I'm popping on.
Oh no, Aaron's gonna try and be a video boy, and this is gonna be a terrible
10 minutes,
thing.
For 10 seconds.
He's frozen.
So I can. Oh, I'm frozen.
Yeah, you're immediately frozen. This
is some bullshit, man. This is some bullshit. Okay, hold on.
I'm in Florida in an apartment complex where I can literally go find an alligator by walking 10 feet out of my backyard. There are dinosaurs within 30 yards of me right now, and Aaron is in a major city that is very up and coming and has a lot of nice tech stuff, and my internet works better.
Okay, first of all, if you knew anything about Texas, it's no matter how big the metropolitan areas get, we will still be stuck in the Stone Age for things like internet and anything tech related, despite the fact that tech companies are coming here.
I'm just saying, it's really more of a brag that I have dinosaurs and the internet.
Yeah, can you even I mean, they are dinosaurs.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Am I still frozen?
No, you're not frozen right now.
Okay, so
I turned
off my VPN. I turned off my VPN. I'm sorry that my voice is out of sync. This is going to be real quick. What I have here for you today, gentlemen. So I'm going to take this double shot of espresso. I'm going to pour it right in there. Pour right on there. Yep.
What
all
is
right.
that?
Now I got this Liqueur 43. All right.
He's playing with fire right now.
Yeah. I'm concerned.
We're going to do 2 parts that.
We're not even to the 5-minute mark of the show yet.
We're going to shake that over ice. We're going to shake that over ice. Shake it good. Just give it a good shake. All right. And there you have a delicious, I'm forgetting the fucking name of it already. But it is, if you need a pick-me-up but you also want to stay chill, this is the way to do it. Espresso and Liquor 43. Delicious stuff. I'll turn my camera off now. Hi, guys.
Wait. Before you turn your camera off, can we appreciate the drip that you have right now? That shirt is amazing.
Give me 2. Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's going to look even more amazing when I pour this, but...
So, now that our opening drink segment is over, Oh man, I guess I don't know if Aaron is still busy making his drink, but Taylor, have you been watching anything, reading anything, been into anything new this week?
I actually, yes. So I read. Hold on, I have to actually find it. I once again I caught up on My Hero
Mm-hmm.
all the way up. They were on hiatus this week, which is nice. You know, everybody deserves a break. We've been over this,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I it's still kind of slow. They had a whole episode of it being Christmas, which dawned on me is the first Christmas episode that they have,
Mm-hmm.
which is telling me that this is in the span of the show, it's only been about 6 months.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's weird for me in My Hero is when you actually pay attention to the amount of time it's been. The entirety of the show has taken place over the course of like 9 months.
And I'm thinking to myself, bro, we're in season 5. We're halfway through season 5, and it hasn't even been half a year yet. like I'm ready. That's the issue that I have with most long running shows outside of like Yu Yu Hakusho. But if you have a goal and you're taking so long to make actual progress, I start to lose a whole lot of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad in like the long term, but that's why I dropped off of One Piece.
Yeah.
For me, they weren't making any significant actual progress toward the goal.
Yeah, like One Piece is a weird show because like the goal is so amorphous where like it is the One Piece, but that's not really what Luffy's goal is, and so like the story is really about the weird ass places they go along the way, and you just gotta realize that pretty early on. But this is not
It's
a One
about
Piece.
family.
No, that's the.
Dom, no.
That's how they're gonna. That's what's gonna happen. That is gonna be the One Piece. It's gonna be Dom in his charger at like just telling you about family.
Just like
It's the barbecue,
we're here for the treasure. The real treasure is family.
dude. No, like the One Piece is you make it to Dom's barbecue. Because it's how every Fast and the Furious movie ends, so that's how it's gonna be.
Oh
The special at his barbecue is just called the One Piece.
Oh,
It's like it's a rack of ribs.
yeah, it's a really good like half rack.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you
here it
guys haven't seen all
Okay.
all the Dom memes right now, they're fantastic. Go find them.
Those of you who don't know who Dom is, he's Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah,
And he's constantly talking. His whole trope is family. Think about this. He is to family what Shonen is to friendship.
Yep.
It gives him all the power to do whatever he needs to do.
Literally
When I
anything.
found this manga,
Uh-huh.
it's called Kuroshi Ai, and I read the first chapter and I was kind of like, yo, this is interesting. They got recommended to me by a friend, and it's literally just like it's like a bounty hunter who's getting hit on by a serial killer.
Fun.
So he's like, hey, I found your target. I beat the hell out of him. He ain't dead, but you want to come pick him up? Here's my address. Come hit me up. And she's just like, fuck it. Like, that's as far as I've gotten. But just from that premise alone, I'm really into this.
That sounds
I
fun.
want to see more. It sounds really neat. It's also at some point gonna get an anime. Don't know when, don't know who. All I know is it's coming.
I'm gonna take your word for it. Where can you find it? Like, is there like a specific place to read it right now, or do they have like a trade out?
You know those places you can go to get things for free?
Yeah, I've heard a few of them. All right, so I'll keep that in mind.
Go
Dude,
to one
I-
of those
Wait.
places.
Where does for legal purposes, where do you guys go to read the majority of your manga? Like for just like pay if any paid memberships?
I primarily read like shonen, so I read on the Shonen Jump app.
Okay.
It works really well, and it's like $2 a month.
For
That's a good deal.
legal reasons, I go to Barnes and Noble and buy them.
I tried to do that, but I was looking for Chainsaw Man, and I'm like, I'm not.
Shonen Jump
anywhere.
app is where
There
it
we
is.
go. I'll go to the Shonen Jump app.
They have the full run. Did you guys ever, as like a kid, like when you were like high school or anything, and you had like completely $0 to buy like stuff on your own, go and just read at Barnes and Nobles? Just go, you just like go sit like with one book at a time, be like I'm browsing, and then put it back like just like a manga library.
I grew up in Japan.
Oh yeah,
they have like little chairs. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go to the actual library, but I didn't have any manga. There was no good access for English manga for me, unfortunately. Even if I wanted to get into it, it'd probably be kind of hard.
Yep. That is rough.
But yeah.
Aaron,
Yeah,
what have you been watching and been into this week? What's up?
Well, obviously, as I told Scott earlier in the week, and I think Taylor might have noticed my tweet about it, I finished up Odd Taxi. It's a 13 episode series. It's like a mini series. And wow, what an ending. Really good stuff. So highly recommend Odd Taxi. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Hint, hint, maybe. If like 15 other YouTubers don't immediately beat me to it with bullshit clickbaity title. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I don't doubt it. It's a good series, and unlike most of my other videos, I think...
I'll be right back.
Are the dogs killing somebody?
They're about to.
So I've been watching Odd Taxi. Finished that up. Amazing. I also started, and I'll have to reiterate this to Scott when he gets back, but I started watching Rurouni Kenshin.
Hey.
It's my first time watching the series.
Now, the Manslayer, hell yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Like, I enjoy it so far. It's cute, and, like, I like some of the action sequences. They feel pretty well done. The reason I'm watching it, though, is because... Remember when I made that suggestion that we should do live-action anime remakes? Yes. Like, we should do an episode on live-action anime remakes? I really want to watch the Rurouni Kenshin live-action films. Because all I've seen of them is their action sequences, and I need to have a reason to watch them all. So, Scott, in case you missed it, I'm watching Rurouni Kenshin.
Kenshin is fantastic. I haven't seen the live action movies. I know the fourth one is out.
Yes,
this week on Netflix. Funny enough.
Yeah, I know, but none of the others. I don't think.
I think I've been meaning to look. I think the other ones are weirdly available on like Funimation.
That's interesting, but that's what I was saying. I'm actually watching Rurouni Kenshin just so I can watch the live action movies because all I've seen of them is their like action sequences, and they are some of the coolest live action sword fight sequences I've ever seen done in mainstream film.
Yeah, they started doing them in when we were in college, and I like right as we were getting out, and I was like, "Holy shit, these are dope."
They really raised the bar for sword fighting sequences, I guess, because they are cool. They are bonkers as shit, but they are awesome.
Yeah.
So I kind of just want to watch the live action movies for that. But if the live action movies happen to be okay. That's cool too. Like I would like that.
From what I understand, they're pretty good because like Kenshin is not a wildly over the top anime that couldn't be done live action.
Right.
Yeah, like that one works.
So.
And that's what I wanted to, because I do want to eventually do our episode on live action anime movies, and I will watch them all, every single one. The Death Notes, the Uzumakis. The fucking terrible Attack on Titan movie that I did watch part of. Oh yeah. So actually, you know what's really weird about the Attack on Titan film is that the special effects are surprisingly some of the best stuff. Sometimes the Titans look really good. Like they put a lot of effort into how they shot and did the Titans. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like when you shoot stuff that's supposed to be larger, you shoot it and slow down the speed. Because from our perspective, something very large like that would be moving at a much slower motion.
Yeah.
So like they did a lot of stuff where they
I've
put those
seen
things
Godzilla.
into, yeah. They did a lot of really good stuff, and I think that's actually part of why the Titans look so good is because of Japan's history with doing large monster films. Because they filmed people in suits for the Titans, and then just like digitally animated some of the facial features and stuff to make them look a little more creepy. So some of that looks good. The 3D gear it looks bad. Oh my god, it's horrible looking. Man. I'm like, how did they not just watch Spider-Man? Just fucking watch Spider-Man and then make that how you shoot the 3D gear sequences. Like, this has already been done. It's not like we've never done swinging through towns before. That part's disappointing, and then everything else is also disappointing.
Yeah. But just for a fun fact for you guys, the reason the dogs are freaking out, I had to step away, is because there is a aforementioned dinosaur laying on our side of the pond, and my bulldog could see it from the window, and he was having none of it.
He was freaking out. What the fuck is that thing?
He was like, "Hey, it's mine. Hey, it's mine. No." Yeah, there's just like a little 2-foot baby alligator just laying on the pond.
By the way.
Yeah.
I have a fun fact related to said dinosaur.
Oh no.
So has anybody seen the James Bond movie where James Bond runs across?
I feel like this has nothing to do with anime.
No, it has. I mean, it's very anime-esque. Have you seen the James Bond clip where he runs across gators? It's one of the older Bonds. He runs across 4 gators just on top of them. Well, that was obviously an actual shot that was done where a guy ran across gators. Because they didn't have VFX or any other material to work with. And this is where it gets really crazy. The stuntman who did it, his dad died from a gator attack, and they did this in 5 takes. So there are clips where he misses a step and the gators are trying to get him and he's scrambling to get. It's terrifying. I couldn't work on a set like that. I'd be like, no, just make them dolls. I don't care. I'm not having a dude get ripped to shreds on my set for fucking gators. Bro.
Why wouldn't they just be paper mache?
Because that's not James Bond, bro. That's you go hard on the Bond films. Stunt boys go hard on Bond films. No. I feel like stuntmen grew up just wanting to be in Bond, so when they finally got there, they were like, oh yeah, we're running across some gators? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, my dad died from one, so I think I know what to look out for.
I saw what he did that was wrong.
Yeah, he didn't... he wasn't aggressive enough. You just got, punch him in the snout. I don't know why I'm imagining him with a hillbilly accent.
Because you have to.
An LA stuntman.
He was a hillbilly, to agree to that.
He's a hillbilly that came from the sticks to be a stuntman.
Anyway.
They got him for everything.
Bringing it back to anime and manga and all the good weeb stuff, and away from people being devoured by the alligators that will surely get me one of these days. I guess what I've been watching. I watched the first couple episodes of Odd Taxi.
Yeah.
I am enjoying it so far, and I want that hat.
You would make a good Otokawa. This is an easy cosplay.
Oh, yeah. Literally all I would have to do is put on his clothes.
A Hawaiian shirt and a little ball cap.
Yep. It'd be perfect. So I checked that out. I caught up with some of my manga that I've been reading, Kaiju number 8 and stuff. One Piece, yada yada. Nothing too much. I've been playing video games a bit more this week. I've finished what is potentially my favorite game right now, Pathfinder, but that is neither here nor there. So if there's no other things that we all got into over the past week.
I do. It's actually
you had time to vamp while I was gone.
I had one more thing. It's something I watched the previous week, but didn't get to mention it. I watched that film Weathering with You. Am I saying that correct? I think that's the correct title.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed, if I'm being honest. Like as a film, it's fine.
I don't
It's
know
got a lot of
anything.
heart. The animation is so like the reason people like it is because the animation is like god tier. It's like it's very clear they spent a lot of time really focusing on the animation. As far as the story and stuff, I was like, it's all right.
Yeah. But I know nothing about this movie, so I have no input. Um, as we jump into the news, I'm going to start us with like the less hype end of things. We're going to start at the beginning. Kaiju number 8 has switched to a bi-weekly schedule for now, which I think is fine, because if anybody's been a consistent reader like me, if you don't know, Kaiju number 8, it's on the Shonen Jump app. It's on another one of the apps. A really cool manga about kaijus in a world where like they attack pretty frequently in like a modern day world. And one of my favorite aspects is that it's about a protagonist who's like too old to be a shonen protagonist, which is great. He's like 30,
That's the best kind of show protagonist.
which makes me happy. He's just a dude who waited too long, and he like failed to do the heroic thing, and now he's trying again.
Oh, didn't we have an idea that we wanted to do that was like that?
Something like that, yeah. But so it switched to a bi-weekly schedule. But if you've been a long time watcher or reader, it's kind of always done that. The mangaka would always do these really cool like one-page art interstitials every now and then.
See, that's cool. Like, if I was gonna do something like that, I would probably want to have like breaks and then just compromise by having nice spreads during the middle of the time.
Yeah, and they were able to do that because it's part of the digital side of the Jump comics, Jump Plus or whatever.
I have a bit of news, and you just tell me if this is on your list. The recent tweets by animator at Mappa, who was coming out and revealing that like Netflix was paying like bare bones for its animation.
Yeah,
and
I didn't.
now this is something we've talked about before about how like animators get screwed over in the business.
Yeah,
It's
which is
just
why I didn't
another
put it in.
example. Yeah, it's another example of that, but you know, it's still pretty big when like
Well,
a guy just comes out and says it and
Yeah.
is like, yeah, nah, fuck them, like they're screwing us over and we don't have time or energy to do anything.
and like what sucks is because like I didn't read the article, but from when I was picking it up, it's like Mappa has been offering their services at that price
Yes.
to undercut everybody else. So it's not like it's Netflix. Netflix is just like, oh, that's a great deal.
Right. This is
It's
a problem.
the animation
that deeper-
studios value their own work so little, and that they will sell it for like anything.
which is part of what they like. This is kind of a common business practice, not just among animators, but like a lot of businesses. Like Amazon did this to get ahead, where they basically screw over everybody at basically making themselves the only one anybody wants to turn to. So like you render your services cheap enough, like nobody will want to pay top dollar. They'll just come to you. They'll be like, oh shit, these guys get it done for way less, and then just before you know it, you're like one of the only people in the game, which is exactly what Amazon did at its beginning. It basically screwed over its sellers by bleeding its company dry, but Bezos just had a bunch of investors who were pouring money into it because at the end of that, you're the only reseller available. It just really sucks, and especially seeing how many projects Mappa is taking on.
Yeah,
It's like, god damn, dude, give these dudes a break.
they've got a lot.
I want to see Chainsaw Man, but like, please don't kill your staff doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm. It's like a tiny reason I like that there are less yearly, like year-long animes, because they generally become garbage because everybody's dying.
Yeah,
And you catch up to the material, and then it's bad.
yeah, I'm okay with having less with better quality. Always, it's a golden standard for me. I don't care how much shit you throw at me. I want it to be good.
But speaking of getting more of good quality things, Skate the Infinity, which I have not finished the first season, but for me it became a like kind of unexpected like highlight as I was just getting back into anime right before we started this podcast. It's from the winter season last year. It is a very cool skateboard anime, TV original and everything from the creator who I believe made Free. So it's a beautiful boys doing things beautifully type show. But they are getting another anime. It hasn't been officially announced if it's a sequel or a spinoff or what the deal is. But they're getting more anime for Skate the Infinity. So if you're like me and you enjoyed the show so far, we're getting more of that, which is going to be pretty dope in my opinion. Next on the list is this is more of a shout out because I appreciate anytime I see really cool, like, even if it's a series that I don't know, whenever I see a long running show do well or a long running series come to an end is always interesting. I may have briefly mentioned this at some point, but there's a show or a manga called Zetai Karen Children, which is about a trio of girls who develop psychic powers, but it has been running for 16 years. With its 62nd volume coming out this month, and they're wrapping up this year. It's like official, like the mangaka has said that like he will wrap the story in the next couple months and then start his new series, which is really cool. Like that's a hell of a run. It's a lot of work. A lot of series ending, but it's cool seeing something get to thrive for so long.
Wait,
15 years. Fucking Jesus.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean, wait?
this is probably on your news list.
Yeah, I have one last item, and it's my big one because I wanted to save it to get hype.
Okay, yeah, I know what it is, and I'm gonna let you have this.
Because I needs it, Aaron. I need this one. So, if anybody doesn't know me, then I am big ride or die Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah.
And I have been since I was a kid. I grew up on that shit. I played the games, watched the shows, read the fucking textbook manuals that they release, all of that stuff.
I did love those.
Disney Plus has announced this really cool collaborative thing that they're doing with a bunch of animated shorts that are all anime in style called Star Wars Visions. It's coming out in September 22nd. And I just want to point out, like, the studios that are working on this are, like, Studio Colorido. Trigger is making two of them.
Yes.
Trigger is making two Star Wars animes. Anime shorts for this thing. I'm so excited. One is called The Elder, which looks dope and kind of like dark, and I would never have called that it was Trigger. The other one is the most Trigger as fuck looking show of all time. It looks like Promare was like fused with Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
Which, ironically, is the one directed by the director of Gurren Lagann and Promare.
Of course, yeah.
And yeah, so like some of the people like making this is like the Trigger ones are run by the director and assistant director of Promare and Gurren Lagann. The one of the ones that I'm very excited about is called The Duel, and it's all of the character designs are being done by Takashi Okazaki, who I know as Bob Okazaki because he's the creator of Afro Samurai, which I think is a fantastic show.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
That man makes some dope character designs. So yeah, there's 7 of them, I believe, in all. It's I'll read them out real quick. It's The Duel, Lop Ocho, which is your required furry bunny girl for anime. Tatooine Rhapsody, which is going to be about like a rock band on Tatooine, like a bunch of kids forming a rock band. The Twins, which is one of the Trigger ones, about dark side twins fighting. The Elder, also by Trigger, which is kind of a, I think it's going to be like it's like a Master and a Padawan type deal. The Village Bride, I have no idea what that one's about. Akakiri looked really pretty. TOB one, which has got a very Astro Boy, like Osamu Tezuka type flair, and The Ninth Jedi, which is by Production IG. So, a bunch of really cool stuff. I'm super hype on this.
I actually think that doing them as shorts is probably the best idea they could have come up with. I think if it would have been a show or if it would have been like a film, they still would have been okay, but I think the short format works really well for this specific idea they have. It's like basically you get a cool anthology series. It actually reminds me a lot of the Animatrix, like the concept to do it, because you have this world that you get to do all these really interesting things with, and they work really well with anime's particular style and like how anime is usually presented. So yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be super cool.
I love little anime anthologies. Like the Animatrix is cool.
The Animatrix is so good.
There's a Batman one called, I think it's Gotham Knights, which is one story told out of sequence, and each part of the story is animated by a different studio. That was cool. And then, believe it or not, Halo Legends is very good.
It's pretty great.
Soldier 1337 is my hero.
I actually also really like, and this one's not an anthology series, but it actually works really well. Have any of you guys seen the Riddick anime?
No, I've not.
Riddick anime?
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's like a 30-minute.
Seen the fucking Riddick anime?
No, I've always wanted to. It's only like a 30-minute
so
thing.
Dope. It's so cool.
I love
it's
Riddick.
so Riddick. It's good. Like if you watch like the first Riddick, which is called what? Like
So the original one is Pitch Black, which is
Black,
not a Riddick film.
No,
Riddick is in it, but it's like a sci-fi horror film.
But the Chronicles of Riddick, that's a fucking anime story. Like that's just anime.
I say you keep what you kill far too often in things like D&D. It is what I base the look of the one of my characters in D&D, like the aesthetic of his one ability he uses, is based off the Necromonger leader in Chronicles of Riddick. That movie is terribly great.
It's actually, I don't know, like, I've gone back and watched it several times, and I think to myself, this is actually a pretty good movie.
It's a solid action movie. It's actually not terrible. It's just, like,
it has
wild.
Goofy elements, but, like, they work because the movie knows what it's doing with them. It's not trying to be overly serious, and it knows when to be goofy.
It starts out with crazy old, like, wild man, beard, savage, Vin Diesel.
It's perfect. It's an anime. This is an anime movie.
All right. Well, does anybody have any news? Any other news to bring up before we toss it to Taylor for this week's topic of the show?
I do not.
I had it, but you stole it.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Was it gonna be Visions?
It was gonna be the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was like the biggest anime thing, and I saw it the other day, and I was really, 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 really excited. I was like, yay. I love Star Wars.
But when are we gonna get the Studio Ghibli Star Wars?
Oh my god, yes.
Where the war aspect is just kind of happening in the background.
No, I think it would be like about like the first like Wookiee who discovers he has force powers or something, just hanging out on his planet.
It would honestly, they like literally just reskin Howl's Moving Castle, and you got a good Star Wars film there.
Insert lightsabers.
Like all the witches or Jedis, you know, like it's perfect.
Brilliant.
It works. Yeah, Hal's just a disillusioned former Jedi.
Perfect. And with that, I think it's time to jump into the topic of the show. Taylor, this was your idea this week. As anybody can see by our very long and rambling title, which I'm going to make a little bigger for anybody who can't see it. What are we talking about this week?
Well, one of the most frustrating things about being an anime fan is when you see it's kind of our fault, right? We see a character, we see a show, and it starts off so good. There's so much potential. It's just there. You're waiting for the story just to play out, to be everything that you imagine, or even better. And then it ends up being absolutely worthless. The character means nothing. The show is just not as good. And it's one of the biggest letdowns. So, the topic for today, you shut your fucking mouth. The topic for the day is, I don't forgot how I put it. Miss potential, is that what it said?
Yep, basically. I think you said wasted potential.
Wasted potential, the biggest wasted potential in all of anime.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be characters, concepts, shows, you name it, we're gonna talk about it here today. Feel free to join us in chat.
Yeah. Because I don't have a lot to bring to the table this time around, I'm gonna go ahead and start with what our title presents Sakura, one of Team 7, Team Kakashi, an OG. Where to even begin with her? I mean, I think Sakura was always kind of an underutilized character, but I think that's because the way they originally wrote her to having kind of a one-track mind for Sasuke, being very by the books. But because personally I'm watching Naruto all the way through, I've actually finally gotten to the point where originally I switched to the manga because I couldn't wait for the animes anymore. I finally passed that point in the anime, so I'm now watching the anime like during the Great Ninja War, right? So Sakura has had a lot of potential. She does. Like, you kind of wrote this character who had like a one-track mind for Sasuke, but like that whole kind of illusion for her was shattered when he left. So when like Shippuden comes around, you're kind of thinking like, okay, like Sakura can go a few different ways from here, and that might be interesting to explore. Like she still might have a thing for Sasuke, but like there's still ways you can maneuver her to be a way more interesting character. And season 1 of Shippuden gives us the coolest Sakura that they could have conceived of, and then immediately abandons her altogether. She fights like almost one-on-one with an Akatsuki. Like almost one-on-one. I say like that while she's tag teaming with like one of the oldest shinobis. But like she has control. Yeah, but like there are things that she contributes that like nobody else would have been able to pull off. Obviously, they give her Tsunade's traits with her incredible strength and her healing abilities, but also pushes it a little further and like shows that she's a good ninja on her own when she's coming up with the antidotes to the poison that's being used by Sasori. It's just all sorts of really cool stuff. And her fight, like some of the animations and things in her fight just make me go, God, Sakura can be so fucking cool when she wants to be. And then, yeah, like after that, like I said, it almost feels like they immediately abandoned her. And here's why it's even worse for me, because early on, I noticed something I didn't notice before, and that's that they give Sakura a few interesting traits where she actually kind of shines as a young shinobi. Like, for example, What's-His-Face puts almost everybody in the village to sleep with a genjutsu. Sakura immediately breaks out of it, like a pro. And I'm thinking like, okay, oh wait, hold on, this is actually really cool. So, like, it would be actually really cool to watch a grown-up Sakura who has, like, more time to develop fight Sasuke and, like, surprise him by beating his genjutsus, like, really well. And I'd be like, oh, that would be cool, because like, you have a good dynamic for a fight. Like, Sasuke has to work around her, like, ridiculous levels of strength and shit because he's weak as fuck. Like, when he doesn't have the upper hand, he's weak as fucking hell. As we saw when he got his ass handed to him by Killer Bee.
Killer Bee is just a beast.
Yeah, he is. He fucking... Like, it is insane, like, watching that sequence and how Sasuke genuinely almost dies within the first 3 minutes of that fight. And you're like, oh shit. Sasuke just almost died. It took a team of 4. Anyway, so that's kind of my feelings on her. I'm disappointed with the fact that she never gets over Sasuke. Obviously, that's one of the big things, right? Like, she never gets over Sasuke despite, like, literally almost being murdered by him. Despite the fact that they kind of give her that, like, trope of anime where it's like, I want to fight alongside you. I don't want to always be behind you. They still just put her behind them. Like, even at the very end, it's like, okay. And, like, for a healer, that might be, you know, like, normal, but, like, they keep bringing it up. She should be equal with them at a certain point, is what I'm trying to say. Like, she should be, at the very least, like, an extremely contributing member to the team, and they just never really give her that opportunity. And that is a wasted potential for an interesting character that was completely abandoned. Does anybody else have any thoughts on Sakura? Taylor, I know you probably got some thoughts on Sakura. Hang on, I gotta unlock my door while you go off.
Okay. You know what's funny? When I came up with this concept, the first character that came to my mind was Sakura. Because I remember just like in Naruto, like the first, like the OG Naruto is what I call it. I call it like OG Naruto and then Shippuden. Like in OG Naruto, she was built up not even as like her entire character is I love Sasuke. She was also like built up as she was the one out of the three of them, out of her, Naruto, and Sasuke, that had the best. She was supposed to be the smartest one, and she was supposed to be the one with the best chakra control. And and they showed that for her being the first one to get up that tree just
That's
with
true.
using chakra. So you saw she has potential, but then when you got to like the whole Zabuza fight on the bridge, all she did was stand there with a kunai like this. Like that's it. That's her. That was her entire role. Meanwhile, Sasuke and Naruto are out there fighting for their lives. with Haku, Kakashi has his hands full with Zabuza himself, and she's just standing there like this.
Yep.
And I remember like thinking like, okay, so if those three lose, what is Sakura supposed to do? Like, in all honesty, what is she gonna do?
Gonna stand there with her kunai.
She go, eh. And then like when they went to like the tuning exams, and they gave it was perfect right there, her moment to shine, right where Naruto and Sasuke, they were out, they were unconscious, they couldn't fight back, and she had to take on the three sound ninja. And it's like, well, okay, Sakura, let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do. And
then
it turned
Shippuden
out to
comes
be
in.
her like character moment, right? Because she gets caught and she cuts her hair to get loose.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because I saw a picture and it was like a meme of like that moment, like right before she cut her hair and then after she cut her hair. And like before she cut her hair, it says at the top, when you have multiple openings to vitally wound your opponent. Because keep in mind, she's on her knees and she's getting her hair held.
Yep.
The person is just standing there. She has a kunai in her hand.
Yep.
And she has a foot, a knee, a thigh, the stomach, all of that. And at the bottom, it's just her cutting her hair. And the text is like, but you're Sakura.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Which I'm just like, okay, all right. I didn't think about that at the time. I was like, okay, she got out. I know how important her hair is to her character, I suppose. But she got out, she started doing work, and then she just got repeatedly punched in the head. And I'm just like,
yeah, like that.
I noticed too, though, that the team dynamic in general in Sakura's place among the team is part of this kind of larger theme of like history repeating itself, right? Like these characters kind of are like being reincarnated in a sense through each other. So you have like Kakashi, Obito, and Rin. You have Nagato, I forget the Pain's like actual name. And the paper girl. You have there's more than this.
Well, the OG is Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade.
Yes, and Tsunade, yeah. And
yeah,
so like
that's like the repeating thing is these very similar trios of ninja.
Yeah, and they all the female characters among them have this similar kind of just like backseat attitude about like they are the two that will bring about the great change, and I'm just here to like help. And it's just kind of unfortunate. Like it's set up to be that way. Like
I'm here for support.
The worst part about Sakura is like not only that she had potential, but also that it's just kind of like built into the entire narrative of the show for all of these like female characters.
And then just kind of just. Yeah.
But even Tsunade gets to be like a great Saiyan, a great Saiyan, and also Hokage. So like,
You do be going Super Saiyan.
she do go Super Saiyan. When that dot disappears on her forehead, you know it's all loose.
You don't need Super Saiyan if you got family.
Family.
Yeah. The Super Saiyan nothing to family.
As he shoots someone with a shotgun.
I guess that's like something that comes to my mind is always because my first character that popped in my head was like Yamcha. When you mentioned this, which moving to Dragon Ball Z, I think generally the human cast in general, from like, and it like a lot of people I think don't realize that it doesn't start with Z where they start to fall off. It starts with in Dragon Ball, because Yamcha, Krillin, Yamcha and Krillin basically stop being a real like force in the show. Anybody who's a genuine challenger or like threat in the entire series, with King Piccolo. Because by time Goku beats King Piccolo, and then like nobody touches Goku for the rest of the series, like as far as the Z Warriors go, until we get Vegeta. So like that's a sad thing because the original like crew was, you know, Yamcha, Bulma, and Goku. And yeah, like Yamcha was a little bit comic relief, but he was also like a warrior and a fighter in his own right. And then Krillin, of course, straight up the homie, strongest human on the planet. You know, he's never anything more than the guy that holds the senzu beans. I don't have my soundboard plugged in, or I would have hit the senzu bean button. And it bums me out because I love Krillin. And
Can we agree that Krillin does more than Yamcha?
Oh yes, Krillin is like straight Krillin at all times. But it's sad to see they don't get to do anything.
God damn it. Like, the way I look at it is like they're like humans, right?
Yeah.
So, like when it comes down to it, I don't think any of them can throw hands with a Saiyan. Not even like Raditz. I feel like Raditz was on a better bit, was like stronger than Goku when he showed up.
Yeah.
Like it took like a desperation, I'm gonna take both of you out move to beat Raditz. Mm-hmm. Who we now look at is who is Raditz? He's a nobody. And that Yamcha would have gotten bodied. Tien would have gotten bodied. Krillin would have gotten bodied. Everybody would have gotten bodied. It's a different level. So I don't really.
So and like that moment was yeah, like I think that like with Raditz and the Saiyan like arc, right? That was the moment to jump it up, right? To like increase the power scale. But if like Toriyama has always been the type of creator who normally has one big bad guy with a couple of like mediocre minions, but throughout all of Dragon Ball and all of DBZ, like 90% of the time, the minions are also dealt with by Goku. You know, like we never get to see, like even like let's move forward a little bit, right? Like let's look at the Ginyu Force. Krillin,
it's either Goku or Vegeta.
Yeah, Goku or Vegeta are the ones who get to do it. Like Krillin and Gohan at that point are as strong as Vegeta were on Earth, and actually by the time the Ginyu Force shows up, Krillin is stronger than that because he got the potential unleash from Guru. And he's still like they just get stomped, and I like it because everything is in service of showing you how strong Goku's gotten. It's always like hurry up and wait for Goku, which is a flaw of DBZ as a whole. But it's sad because it leaves a lot of these characters to like fall by the wayside, and other series like your favorite series of Yu Yu Hakusho and the way they like get around that is that it's normally everybody gets somebody to fight, right? So like everybody still feels relevant or everybody has an action to do. You know, the Four Saint Beasts arc is kind of the other way of doing shonen. It's really great. Everybody has their moment, and at the very end you see everybody doing their best to hold the line while Yusuke finishes the fight.
Yeah.
Can I just say how weird it is being a passive enjoyer of anime and having never actually watched anything Dragon Ball related?
That is fucking wild.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but it's like one of the big gaps in my anime knowledge is Dragon Ball, because when I was younger and I lived on the base, you know, they would show Dragon Ball Z, but they did it weekly at a weird time of the day, and like anytime I would turn it on, a whole episode would go by and nothing would have happened, and so I gave up on it completely. Yep. And this kind of just lasted even when I got back into anime in college. Like, I still didn't bother. I think because I still had the idea that I'm like, I don't really want to like sit there for 5 episodes and watch almost nothing happen.
You know,
it's like, oh wait,
you gotta watch Dragon Ball Kai.
Mm-hmm. But I will, yeah, like I can respect it though. Like I ain't coming after Dragon Ball, because I just don't like. It's just not my cup of tea.
Like Dragon Ball Kai for Dragon Ball Z for sure, but in all honesty, Dragon Ball, like the OG Dragon Ball anime, is really good all the way through.
Yeah, Nina suggested that we watch it, and I was like, yeah, because it's like a kids adventure show, right? Like
it also has one of the best openings ever. Just
You know what the crazy thing about Dragon Ball is?
Yeah,
they just threw a bunch of lore at you and never explained it.
Yeah, like
why does Goku have a tail?
It's literally just Journey to the West with Dragon Balls as the MacGuffin instead. Like that's what like Dragon Ball Z is. It's based off of like the Tale of the Monkey King, and it's just changed to be about a teenage girl finding wish-granting balls to wish for the perfect boyfriend, which eventually leads to them fighting God. Yeah, she wanted the.
Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Bulma is like the smartest, most dope person on the planet, and she just doesn't like anyone, and she's like, I'm gonna wish for the perfect boyfriend, because I can. So I built this magic radar that finds this ancient, powerful wish ball.
Somehow.
Yeah, what a way to jump into an adventure.
And then she shoots Goku.
She finds Goku, and then she gets with Yamcha, and then, yeah. I mean, Yamcha out there playing baseball right now.
He does play baseball. There is an episode of Super where they show that he is better at baseball than the other Z Warriors, which is great.
I will say, though, despite the fact that I never watched any of the Dragon Ball stuff, when I would see my friends watch it, I did find the GT opening pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Dragon Ball GT. I was like, this is a perfect encapsulation of the show because it's like 90% screaming. Taylor's not amused by my pick. Okay, I'll move us forward. Well, I'll move us forward with another disappointment. This one is a whole series, and I'm sure everybody has it on their list. Bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach. Let's talk about Bleach. Because I don't even know where to start, honestly. Like, where do we start with the problems with, like, what happened?
They did this.
What made it good? I guess that's a good place to start. Like, what made it, like, enticing and enjoyable to you? And then how
they had one of the greatest arcs in anime, period, and they tried to repeat it, and they didn't do very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, legitimately, Super Eye Patch Wolf has a 50-minute video on why Bleach is. I don't know if he said bad or overrated.
Yeah, like the fall of Bleach, I think
the
is what
issue
it was.
with Bleach. Yeah, something like that. And he literally, and I never noticed this, because I got a monkey brain. I never noticed this, but they have, the Soul Society arc, and he goes down everything that happens in the Soul Society arc and what makes that arc one of the greatest arcs of all time.
Yeah.
Then you go into, I think it's a filler arc. I don't remember. I blinked it out of my memory. At that point, I started to lose a little bit of like love for Bleach. Then you get to Waco Mundo and that whole arc, and it's literally the Soul Society arc, just with a fresh coat of paint that's not even that fresh.
Well, it's a white coat. But the problem is when you do white paint over something, you need a different base.
And they didn't put that base.
No.
Now we're not talking about anime. We're just talking about home improvement. Like, see what the problem. Like, that would be great. Just a home improvement show, but for anime. Like, start with you got to put down some slacker on there.
Yeah, they did one coat too. Like, it was just like one coat
All right. I think there's
and-
more to it though. Like,
But when I was watching the video, the biggest one for me was when he was like, "Yo, Ichigo's big fight, the one we were waiting for the whole time, like it's the Soul Society arc. It was Byakuya, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the Waco Mundo, it was
It's Aizen.
Ukiura.
Oh yeah, Ukiura and then Aizen.
I was gonna say, yeah, Aizen's
And
later.
then they're literally the exact same character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The exact same.
Yep.
And when he said that, it rang. I was like, oh my god, they are the same.
Mm-hmm.
They act the same. They sound the same. They basically fight the same. It's the same.
even the mini bosses are like really similar.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, Grimjow's
it's the
Kenpachi.
same.
Yeah,
Like,
Grimjaw's basically Kenpachi.
yeah. All right, so
Same.
here's where I also like, even during the Soul Society stuff, like there were things that I noticed that already were kind of like turning me off from the show. I still enjoyed it because like the fights were really cool. You know, there was a lot of fun moments, like really cool moments. But like part of it was there was a lot of setup and then no payoff. And I don't mean like plot setup, but I think more ideas and or for example, from the very beginning of the show, I kind of liked this idea of like the soul. They're called Soul Reapers. What are they called?
Reapers. Soul Reapers.
Reapers.
Yeah.
Okay, I liked the idea of like Hollows and Soul Reapers. I like this kind of like secret, unseen defense force for humans on Earth against these terrifying creatures. And then less than like 5 episodes in, it's like, all right, forget Earth, forget Hollows, forget all that. We're going to Soul Society, baby. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, oh, this will be cool. I don't know what's happening on Earth. I don't know if anybody's actually fighting Hollows at this point. All of Soul Society forgot about Hollows. They were like, oh shit, we got an intruder. Everybody on deck. Forget those people. Like there was, in fact, like during the entire Soul Society thing, I was like, do they ever even fucking mention Hollows? Like I feel like this should be a large part of their existence.
How are you forgetting about Don Kanonji, my favorite character? How are you forgetting about him?
Can't see the screen. Who?
Let me see. If I turn off my light, Don Kanonji. It won't show. I'm gonna Google Don Kanonji. I'm gonna put him in our Discord chat.
Put him in the Discord chat. But that's what I mean. Like, and then like you know, once you're past Soul Society stuff, then you're talking about this whole Hollowverse, and you're like, okay, we're back to Hollows, but now this feels completely different from the stuff they were originally setting up. So now they're not just mindless creatures; they're like an organized force with like certain mindless people. There's a lot abandoned and a lot kind of forgotten in terms of lore building, and like there's fun stuff there.
Yeah,
and I just kind of like we just keep moving to different things, and I'm like, I don't have time to really enjoy this.
Yeah, I agree. Bleach starts out with a very, very cool premise of the Soul Reapers fighting the Hollows, generic monsters, right? And then you learn in like over the first like 5 or 6 episodes, you get to learn a few different things. Like these Hollows are generally spirits who linger too long. The point of a Soul Reaper is to exterminate Hollows, yes, but also to like help lost souls in general. Like the back of the of your Zanpakuto has a little like bonking scepter or sigil that you put on their head, and they go home. They get to go to Soul Society, which is really, really interesting. And you get like some additional lore. Like some of them are kind of vicious, and they do have minds, and they are hyper intelligent. Like the Fisher King is fucked up because he just has this like lore of a little kid that he lets wander around and like a lore fish and stuff. And there's a bunch of them like that are really, really interesting. And then the Soul Society arc is great because it shows this like drama, tension, like clearly some corruption within like the good guys, and it's neat because we're fighting the people that we were looking forward to meeting as like our allies. And you know, you go through all that. But there's a bunch of little other things that one thing that I always found really, really neat that is barely used is that it's a tiny thing, and it's almost missable, but throughout the series, they show that like Ichigo's constant presence, because everybody always, like all his friends always know he can see ghosts. but the longer he's like around people as he's getting stronger, it starts like awakening other friends'
Yes.
powers, and like they don't do anything with it.
No.
It's like
God damn
briefly
it,
mentioned like
Chaz.
twice. Like Chad like gets really
Chad.
like Chad gets like wasted. He stops being. They literally like we've talked about it before in the series. They literally have a moment where like no, you've peaked.
Chad's the coolest character too. Like, how do you have a cool dude like Chad just become? You know what's funny is like the Chad and the virgin meme. You took a Chad and you made him a virgin. How dare you? Like he's literally a Chad.
Like I had like 3 like big issues with Bleach. Like, and this is going back to even when I first started watching it, I was really enjoyed it. Like I watched it all the way through, and I enjoyed it, but I had my issues with it. Like I didn't like Ichigo as like just
Not
like
a strong
character.
protagonist. Yeah.
Because it was like I like the fact that he wasn't like Naruto, he wasn't like Luffy or like Gon or like any other regular shonen protagonist. Like, he didn't have like, oh, I have this crazy dream that I'm gonna accomplish. He was just like, I can see ghosts.
Yeah,
I'm kind of just out here chilling. But I didn't
He
like
kinda-
the
he's-
fact that he
he's-
just kept getting handed powers.
yeah. He gets like some cool moments, but I do. They get built in, but they're always introduced right before he then goes and learns them.
Yeah.
I think the
know,
best
like,
one is Bankai, because like he does do the
still
entire
hate-
like
I still
fight
hate
with Renji.
This whole thing. I still hate
I
hate Ichigo's whole fucking thing. My
Also-
attack is just a slash.
Yeah.
And my ultimate attack is just a bigger slash.
And I'm
I
fast.
hate that. I
Because the
hate that so
power has
much.
been.
But yeah,
condensed.
like in the first episode, he's literally handed powers. Rukia literally goes here. And
Yeah.
he
But
goes,
it's kind of a cool like even that like really pulled me into the show because it's like he's kind of taking on this role that he doesn't really understand, but he cares enough about this character he just met to like take a giant risk of like literally stabbing himself through the chest. He's like, trust me, bro.
Yeah, like
I just met you, but like, trust me, bro. You gotta stab yourself with my fucking sword.
yeah. I think the fact that Ichigo is never anything.
like,
He never has any power unique, like any unique ability besides being strong and fast.
he
It
also
makes him
doesn't
a
really
little.
go out looking for stuff either. He trains for like
What happens to him?
to
Yes.
beat the next. He gets his ass kicked. Then he trains to kick the guy's ass who kicked his ass. He kicks his ass, and that repeats. But once he kicks like the big dude's ass, he's just like, okay, I'm good. Then the next enemy shows up, and he's all cocky. Then he gets his ass kicked, and it's
Yeah.
like, damn. I guess I gotta train again. And it's like, bro, just keep training.
Back to basics.
Just keep training.
Yeah, he's somebody without a goal. Whereas like, it's funny because the other antagonist that would be like, or protagonist that would be like that is Yusuke Urameshi. Yusuke doesn't want to do any of this shit, but they set up
Bullshit.
Toguro. Like, first off, like from the beginning, Yusuke has to do this. He died and got brought back to life. He is a spirit detective. This is his job. Whereas Ichigo, bad things happen, and it's a very similar situation where he takes the power, and now he's got to kind of help, kind of deal. But like, Yusuke keeps doing these things when he really could, for the first couple, ignore them. But it shows you that he's a good guy because he
Yusuke's the
does them
best.
anyway.
Yusuke's the best. I love Yusuke.
And then, of course, like they as they go, he gets more and more motivation, and like less of them become external factors. Like Toguro, when he gets introduced, becomes a legitimate threat and rival for him. That he's like, I need to beat this guy because he's fucking crazy.
I have one last thing on Bleach, and tell me if I'm misremembering this because it's been a long time. But like early on, when he like first tries to get into Soul Society, like between the plane of like Earth and Soul Society, there's this kind of like class division in Soul Society.
Yeah,
Like there's like a poor outskirts, and then there's
Yeah,
like
just
this,
like regular ass people.
and it's
yeah,
all
and
an
then
old
there's-
Japanese village.
yeah, and then there's like it's like this class division that never ever gets brought back up again. Like, how are you going to introduce a thing that is inherently a tension between two ideas, and then Ichigo goes like, "Bye, bitches."
Yeah, they never do anything with Soul Society after setting up a bunch of like things. Like several of the captains are people from that came up from like the slums of Soul Society, like Rukia and Renji
Like, oh boy,
and
here's
Kenpachi.
Ichigo. Here's Ichigo. This like anti-authority kind of like he doesn't have like a huge amount of motivation, but he inherently is kind of an easygoing dude who just like wants things to be chill. Like that's kind of the impression I always got about him because they don't give him a lot, but like
Yeah.
he sees this situation where it's like there's a poor outskirts and goes to Soul Society and just like forgets all the poor people. Like, bro, do something. Like you can't introduce class tensions and then just go like, this is fine. This is okay, I guess. He doesn't even like try.
I'm not here for you. I'm here for Rukia.
Yeah, I'm just coming to get my thing. I'm passing by, guys. Chill. Everything's
You think
chill.
like you would think like after he says he's like, so guys, about those people like outside, like what's up with that?
And then you got a cool situation where he has to fight giant buff old man to democratize Soul Society.
Oh man.
He would get his ass kicked, but then you just follow the formula.
Taylor, is there like anybody that like you really wanted to talk about on the list? Because we've only talked about a couple. We've kind of got done the like deep dives on the few we've gone through so far.
I got two, and I can make one real quick because it's going back to like Dragon Ball and
Yeah.
that whole universe. Gohan.
Yeah, man, Gohan is. I think that's one that I definitely wanted to talk about.
Like Gohan is the biggest piece of wasted potential, I think, maybe like in Dragon Ball, period.
Yeah.
Definitely in Dragon Ball. I don't know about anime, but Dragon Ball, period. The fact that we've been literally since episode like 1, it's basically been like you basically watched Gohan. You know, he's the reason they got the upper hand against Raditz with his rage outburst. So you saw he has the power to like hurt people way out of his league. He had another one against what's his name? The pink dude. One of Frieza's henchmen.
Chidoriya.
Yeah, him. He had a rage against him when he was out there killing Namekians.
Yeah.
He had another one against, I think, was it Raccoon?
He has one against Raccoon briefly, and then he has one against Frieza.
Raccoon, one against Frieza. He kind of like skips like the androids, but then it ultimately comes out against Cell. And it's like, okay, he's at his. This is why Goku's like, my son is the person who's going to beat Cell. He's stronger than all of us. And he beats Cell. Goku's out of the picture. Vegeta's number 2 forever. He will never be number 1, no matter what happens. And you see Gohan kind of takes it, you know, a little bit seriously.
Yeah.
Because he's still training, but he's still like, I don't like to fight. But he's still like training just in case.
So,
and then the birth of the Great Saiyan Man.
Yeah,
I like the Great Saiyan.
I think Great Saiyan Man is fun. I think it's a really cool vehicle for somebody like Gohan who is a little more shy, is a little more silly, and like reclusive than Goku, to get back into being a hero after this long period of like peace and downtime.
Yeah, like I looked at it like it's just Gohan being a giant nerd. It's adorable. Like I love it. But I felt like when they brought Goku back, I was like, okay, he's just here for like a day. It's gonna be fine. And then you get Boo, and then you're like, okay, Goku shows up, busts out Super Saiyan 3. Okay, this is cool. I remember that. I remember as a kid going, wow, his hair is long. Yeah. And I don't know where his eyebrows go, but we're not going to talk about that. But like when Goku disappeared, and then up came like Trunks and Goten, they became Gotenks. Like, I looked at the Majin Buu as in this is like the viewpoint of like the next generation past Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah.
Because at that point, Vegeta was dead, Goku was dead, and it's just their sons.
Mm-hmm.
And then Akira Toriyama said, "Yo, fuck this. Goku, Vegeta, come save the day." And I remember thinking, why? Why? What? Let Gohan eat.
Yeah, like I think what it is because Gohan is a passive character, right? He never goes for anything, and I think it would have been interesting. So anybody like I love Team 4-Star and Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and what they did with Gohan at the end of the series is
Beautiful.
yeah, it's great. So like Goku says like I'm not gonna come back, because you're here. Like I don't need to be here. Like if anything bad turns up now, like you've got this. And Gohan's like, yeah, don't worry, we'll be fine, Dad. I got this.
It's a passing of the torch.
Exactly, and so it should have been
Literally.
Gohan. Because like he had this like culmination of his arc, and it should have been his becoming the hero moment, right? Like he's stepping up to take over for his dad, who has inadvertently caused so much of the grief throughout this entire series just by being him. And then like it would have been cool because the next big villain though was for the first time in a long time not at all caused by Goku. With Majin Buu, and it would have been a threat that is completely external, and it's like, Dad's not here. It's me and Mr. Piccolo and Vegeta, and we're gonna figure this out.
We got this.
Yeah.
We got this, but no, let's bring Goku back and let's just keep him in the show now.
Yep.
He just gets his life back.
Goku gets to live.
Like, why?
All that matters, Mr. Satan, real MVP.
Man, Mr. Satan deserves a lot more love from the DBZ fan base than he gets. Because that man could have single-handedly just ended the entire Buu saga. Mm-hmm. He could have done it. Him and a dog.
To this day,
the whole thing.
They are like one of the best relationships in Dragon Ball. Like watching them together in Super, like in the few scenes they have, bring me so much joy because while like Mr. Satan's definitely afraid of Buu, he's mostly afraid of him hurting other people and somebody hurting him because that's his best friend. And he wants to make sure nobody has to hurt him and keep him safe just because he's got a silly baby temper.
It's like, Boo, calm down.
Oh, man. It's so good.
And then, like, in Super, they just threw Gohan under the bus. They were just like, yeah, you can't even turn Super Saiyan anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're kind of... They were starting to bring him back around for the Tournament 7 arc, and he does do some cool shit, like, going into the tournament and everything. I mean, we see that, at least for a little bit, full power Gohan. Ultimate Gohan can square up against Blue, which is neat.
Yeah, like Gohan's strong as fuck. Like he's legitimately strong as hell. Can we talk about for a second how big of a fucking menace Goku is? Like in all honesty, like I love Goku, but I hate Goku.
Because Goku is dumb.
Imagine you get told by the God of Destruction, you see them two fools over there? Don't go talk to them. I don't care how much you want to fight. Don't go talk to them. Yeah. And he goes immediately over there, talks to them. They go, yeah, let's have a tournament. Let's invite a bunch of different universes. Hey, how about this? Just for fun, whoever loses gets their universe erased. And Goku's like, shit. So then, imagine you sitting there getting ready to eat, and then Goku, who you ain't seen in like months, just shows up and say, hey, we gotta go fight for the universe. It starts tomorrow.
And you're just like, my wife's having a baby.
My wife's having a baby. So?
He's that friend. He's the guy that gets you into shit. See, that's a toxic friend. You need to cut that dude out of your life, like, immediately.
But you can't, because he has instant transmission.
Yeah.
And he's your wife's best friend.
Like I've had this conversation with Cherie so many times. I'm so surprised they haven't just killed him in his sleep before. I'm so surprised they haven't just put poison in his food yet.
That's all it would take is poison in his food.
Vegeta just is like, okay, third alternate timeline. We don't give him the heart medicine, and I will go kill the androids.
We just let him die, and then we just go jump these androids. We just go kill these androids.
He's literally the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He's like, what do you say to start a fight? You guys want to start a fight?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I got Taylor. You said you had one more, and then I have one thing, and I'll keep mine brief as well.
That wasn't brief. What just happened? That was like a 15-minute conversation. But my other one is like Kirito from Sword Art Online and Sword Art Online in general.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sword
I
Art
always
Online
say-
was gonna be the other one I wanted to talk about.
Yep. Because I always say I really like the very first. I like specifically Sword Art Online. Because I think that's really cool. Because I think it has some very good moments and looks at like the actual mechanics of an MMO and how things would realistically be. And you get the. It's a nice little character arc where like him and Asuna like end up together because they need friends. They are lonely and they feel like nobody's getting out of this world ever. So like that's like believable, and they like try and retreat from the world and everything. I'm like, I could see having these feelings if you were trapped forever somewhere. Like you eventually hit this point where you're like, why am I still fighting? And I liked all that.
Bro,
I like there are moments I like, but as a whole, even the first season to me disappoints in a lot of ways. But I mean, there it has its redeeming qualities. I will say in terms of Kirito's character arc, I don't know if any of you have watched the Sword Art Online abridged.
I have.
But somehow
I don't
think
like it.
I think his character arc in that is somehow better.
It's
I don't-
way better.
I don't like
'Cause
SAO Ridge.
He's just a huge
Either of
dick,
them.
and like, yeah, that's kind of what that character was. But they like actually like leaned into this like nerd who like didn't know how to talk to people or treat people, and
See, but that's the thing. Is like
it
Kirito.
leans into it so hard.
I guess that's why I'm
and
always
I don't know.
confused. I don't know why. I feel like people hate Kirito because of like the later seasons and how weird the show gets, but he's not a
Well, I
dick.
mean, that doesn't
Everybody's
help.
mad at him just because he was a beta tester, and
Beta.
like it's just people being elitist against him for no
Yeah,
reason,
yeah.
and he just plays the heel because he realizes it lets everybody kind of get
See,
together.
I liked the
Bro,
idea of him
it's
playing
not
the
even
heel, but like I also I kind of didn't get the anger about him being a beta tester, because it's like, bro, if
You're
you
not a
know
gamer,
somebody but like if you knew somebody was a fucking beta tester and you're trapped in this goddamn game, like I'm gonna go talk to the fucking beta tester.
Again, you're not a gamer.
Well, the gamers are stupid then. Like, go talk
No,
to the
like
goddamn
that's the
beta
thing though.
tester.
Is like I that's why I like the like original run of SAO. Is it's a weirdly accurate like analog for or like analogy for actual MMO players. Like that kind of community. It is filled with elitist people. It is filled with people who get inherently jealous, who are always trying to be perfect at the game. Who it's very factional, and like you get to see the different types of people where he meets his buddy with the red hair, who is kind of cool with him even afterwards. And
Oh, Klein.
Klein, yeah, like
only-
they're still homies and stuff.
If it was really accurate, there would be a lot more racist slurs in that show.
No, not
There's-
really.
there'd be a
I
whole
mean,
Chat
faction
filters
of
are really good.
racists.
I mean, yeah, but they really can't put that in there.
No, of
for
course not.
reasons.
No,
But,
no, wait.
Yeah, like
Aaron's
my
wrong.
biggest
Aaron-
issue, like
Yeah.
my biggest issue with Kirito is how he's like OP, and he's not like OP in a way that makes sense. Like Saitama is OP, but in a way that makes sense by not making any goddamn sense. Doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats and run that don't make you that it doesn't make you that strong. But he's not like it's not like he's out flying. Like he didn't turn into Superman. He can't like, oh, I'm shooting beams out of my eyes by doing push-ups.
stronger
Like,
than
no, that's not
Superman.
how that works.
I know we're like completely digressing into like an SAO like debate, but I would say the only reason like time that he's like breaking the world rules OP is the last fight.
No, it's not true.
No, it's not true at
I will
all.
go to this is the one I always go to. And I think a lot of people forget about this moment in
The one on the
Inherently-
bridge or the dual wielding.
Well,
No,
the
the-
bridge is my
the-
favorite moment in that season
the
because
That was
secret boss.
bullshit.
no, well it's
Does
not
anybody
like
remember the
have you
secret
played
boss?
like, go play WoW. get to like a level 100 toon, and then go let like a bunch of level like 20 dudes try and kill you. They fucking can't.
Not the bridge part. Not the bridge part. Does anybody remember the secret boss?
What's
Nobody?
When they go
Where they
get
first
the
discovered the little girl?
dragon egg thing.
Oh, her? Oh, yeah, that too.
Where they discovered the little girl, and then Kirito hacks the game and knows how to code?
Bro, he hacks the game and codes her back into existence, but he can't get them out of the game.
Part. That's the part I always remember. That one, like,
I don't
completely
remember it
Oh,
like how it
because
exactly
it's
went
the
down.
most
Oh, you don't remember? She dies. He just opens shit, starts typing, and then she just comes back as like a little like
The item, yeah.
He
I
literally
don't.
hacks the mainframe.
Yeah, that's
Fucking-
silly. That's
he has
dumb.
a hacker moment.
Yeah, that's
Bro,
dumb.
He's like,
Bro.
I'm gonna hack this shit. It's like, wait, you're telling me you can hack the game?
He can hack the game.
As long as I
It
get to one of
doesn't
these
do anything.
this specific terminal, though, it's like, okay. And then they gave him a time frame, so he's like, I can only do something very small. It's like, all right, you know what would be a good code to change? The one that releases us all from this world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kirito, no!
to pull it back to the relevant conversation, I guess can we all agree that like the two things that probably would have really improved the series would be a little less harem and a lot less rape?
No. No.
I mean, yes, both of those things being there are kind of a detriment.
Right.
Actually, I mean, the harem thing in general
the
is like
harem
kind of
thing is not a
weird.
harem thing. It's not a harem.
That is a harem. That's like the definition
It's
of a
not
harem.
a harem. It's not a harem at all.
It's just that every season, it's
not
like
a harem,
Pokemon,
they're
right?
just
Like,
friends.
where
That's
like
basically
every
it.
season, because this is literally what the creators of Pokemon have said, is that the reason there's always a new female character is so there's always something for boys to look at. And it's like, it's the
Bro.
same in SAO, where like there's always just a cute
No.
girl, so there's a cute girl.
No.
Come on,
No,
man.
like
Oh,
my whole
Pokemon
thing
guy.
is-
No.
like the straw for me that was kind of like, I don't really like Kirito that much anymore, is when they were fighting. I think it was like a Minotaur or something, and he
Is the
he
boss.
started dual wielding, and then somebody was like, "Yo, that's not even a skill in the game. How is he even doing that?" It's like it's
I
such
didn't even
a
care about that
ridiculous
part.
ass.
No,
No,
I
care about
thought that was cool because it was a skill that he had been
No.
hinting at for a while. Because if you pay attention, he builds the
how
second
can
sword.
How can he have a skill that's not programmed in the game?
No, it is programmed in the game. It's a secret skill, and which certain MMOs and old school games do. Like, because that's the thing, is he has a highly rare class skill. It's whoever's the highest agility stat in the game gets to unlock it. Which there's a couple, and that's part of the evolving game thing. Like if you use one-handed swords a lot, you unlock the class Klein's, which is like the samurai blade master. And it's basically just whoever's number one in a skill can potentially unlock a branching secret path. Which I thought was like a neat, like anime-ified gaming thing.
Yeah, here's what I would say is that there's a lot of
Right.
because we're talking about wasted potential, there's a lot of wasted moments that could be shown that could show Kirito's general progression to these levels that he's at. Like, I don't
It
mind
is
that
also,
he comes at
like-
some parts. I don't mind that he comes at some parts OP because, like, yeah, that kind of was like the bridge part to me was cool. Like, I liked him stepping onto the bridge and then all these dudes just like taking swings at him and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I want to see more of a progressive journey towards that, I guess. Like, part of the enjoyment of the show is there's like large leaps of time, right? Where we like come back to Kirito, he's like in a different part. He's just kind of like vibing.
Yeah, we're skipping the grinding. We're skipping him playing the game a lot of the time.
But it also doesn't show like significant like I don't. Yeah, I would even put this like I don't want to watch Kirito kill like 1,000 boars just so he can like be OP right at level 1, which is
what he
definitely
did.
a thing. Which is definitely a thing I would do. Like I don't know how more people didn't think to do that for sure. Like every time I play Kingdom Hearts, that's all I do is I just fight on the beach until I'm a beast, and then I go. But like I want to see more moments of like genuine struggle and his like interaction with like because he's a big game nerd, because he was a beta tester, having a significant understanding of the gameplay itself might make an interesting like character dynamic that he doesn't really get to exercise in the show. Outside of what the show is showing us, like apparently he's doing all sorts of really cool stuff. He's coming out, he's a goddamn beast, but like part of me wants to see like how is he applying his concept of how games work.
And I think
to the
that's
world.
a big thing with the first series. I believe it is a very abridged version of the original light novel. We did get like a mini show, so that might be part of like for a lot of the shortcomings potentially. I don't know. I've never read it.
But yes, everything after season 1 is an absolute nightmare. Weird incest stuff, rapey, creepy stuff. It's an insane mess. I remember like trying to watch season 2, and like within the first 2 episodes, there's like weird tongue creatures like tonguing down the main female character in just a very disgusting like rapey scene, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I'm gonna hate the villain.
Yeah, it's very.
I already
creepy.
hated the villain. He's already creepy.
They want you to hate him even more.
It's not how you give characters motivation. It's lazy. Kick that guy out of there.
I mean, they did it in Gun Gale and the one after that and the one after that.
Yeah.
They just keep coming back to rape.
So gross. Like to me, it's just lazy writing. Like I know even the dudes on Red Letter Media have talked about. There's kind of like a line that you don't cross before it just starts becoming uncomfortable, grotesque, and you don't need it to give the characters motivation. It's already bad, like lazy writing, to give characters motivation based on like harming female characters. That's a well-established trope in media. It's called the girl in the refrigerator. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but like apparently there's a Green Lantern arc where like the Green Lantern finds his wife chopped up in a refrigerator.
Yep.
It's just like the basic like revenge of like my female counterpart has been raped or murdered type trope, and it's always just lazy most of the time. It's never really done in an interesting way. But yeah, and there feels like those tropes just pile up in everything after season 1 of SAO. And the weird incest thing between his sister, I don't even know where to start with that. So I'm not going to. Yeah. SAO, why you bad?
I've been sitting here like kind of quietly because I've been going through my brain because I had a show that popped into my head that was a series that I really was into, and I think the anime is still fantastic and cool. But I think the manga gets a little too wild and falls off because of it.
My Hero?
No. So I don't know if either of you guys have ever seen this, but it's a show that I thought was really cool. It had a really interesting premise. I got super into it. It's only a 26-episode anime. Air Gear. Have either of you guys heard of this?
Yeah, I saw Air Gear, yeah.
So, for Aaron and anybody in the audience who doesn't know, the premise of Air Gear is basically that these tiny, like, motors were invented in the world, and a bunch of crazy people decided, let's put them in skates, because that's what we do as humans, and that would happen. And so they have these, like, high-speed, motorized, like, inline skates, and they have all these, like, crazy competitions and, like, races and crap, and it's very interesting. Very, like, shonen battle trope without them actually fighting most of the time. It is them doing various, like, competitions and races and relays using these. And it's very cool, and the anime is dope. And the anime ends very early in the manga run. But the manga run does something that I actually wish I had remembered this trope while we were talking about tropes. Is when a, like, world is kind of set in a more realistic standard. Like, it's just, like, slightly exaggerated reality, right? Like a sports anime. And then they start, they have to introduce actual weird science fiction magic into the world. And what happens in the Air Gear manga as it continues on is they introduce these things called the regalia, which are special parts in certain people's like Air Gear, which are the skates, that basically like give them like literal fucking magic powers. Like there's an actual guy who like goes so fast that he like makes fire. You know, and it, like the MacGuffin of the series becomes that like they're like the kings of Air Gear and stuff, and the I forget the name of Iki's the main character, his crew, but they're gonna go get all the air gears. They're gonna get all the regalia and have like a war. So
Gotta catch them all.
like, I don't know why the regalia had to be like weird magic things. I think it could have been like a cool like symbolic thing, or it could have been like the name of the, just specifically the cool like name they have for the air gear parts. But it starts becoming a bunch of weird mystery magic nonsense, and I didn't enjoy that. It ruined what for me was a cool series about these like punk kids with dumb, fast, dangerous roller skates doing like dumb shit.
Yeah, there's a
very like Tony Hawk Underground.
I feel like that's a common anime thing too, where like it kind of starts off having these grounded base for certain things. Like even
It's
all right,
power
even
creep
as,
is
yeah,
like
even,
the
even
thing,
stuff
but...
as like basic as Naruto like falls into this convention. Like we talked about last week, where it's like, okay, the eye powers are kind of interesting. They have like a very specific thing they could do, but then like later on, he's just conjuring up giant purple skeletons out of thin air. It's like, okay, these two things don't track the way they should. So even like things like that have their awful kind of that power creep problem, which is unfortunate. It's kind of part of the reason I like shows like Attack on Titan, because even though they introduce a lot of different types of Titans, and some of those Titans have different abilities, and none of them ever go beyond the established rules they created for themselves. They all feel real. They also always have problems with their fucking 3D gear. They're constantly having real-world problems. Like, fucking Levi at one point just twists his ankle because he hits a branch wrong trying to save Mikasa. Like, it's cool, like, if you establish a rule for your show that things need to be grounded, it's cool when those problems they feel like they fit.
Hajime Ippo has over 1,300 chapters, like 50-something fights, and we have never moved to magic boxing. Like, Ippo's signature move that he does is just a, like, evolved and slightly animified version of an actual technique used by Jack Dempsey in the 20s. Like,
yeah,
it's great.
The cool part about that too is like you could have things that seem like they're outside the realm of possibility in a boxing. Like Mike Tyson to like boxers in the 20s would look like a goddamn superhuman.
No. Mike Tyson to today looks like a goddamn superhuman. Go watch that man's fights.
Yeah, the way he dodges hits is like terrifying. Like, how do you fucking hit this dude? Same with like, there were also like UFC fighters who kind of had that aura about them, where it's like this dude, if he really put in the effort, would genuinely just be unbeatable. Mm-hmm. Like what's his name? Sylvia, wasn't he like for a time like people thought he just could not like be.
Yeah, Silva had like a long stretch. No, it was not that he got cocky or lazy. He was always cocky. He got old.
Yeah, it's true. But like, there were like
age is the great equalizer in MMA. Age and injury.
I would say though that the cockiness caught up with him at a certain point, because like he would lose fights because of being cocky.
A little bit, yeah. If you guys ever want to learn a bunch of cool stuff about MMA, go watch Kion Kimura. He's a very cool YouTuber I'm a big fan of. He does a lot of really dope videos about the careers of different fighters. He's a lot of very nice dude. But I think we've been on here for an hour and a half. This is one of our longest episodes yet, and I think we could keep going if
get longer.
we get long.
Sword extend. Power pole extend.
This is the power creep in action.
Oh
We're
man,
reach
that's
5-hour-long episodes.
As always, I'm Bear, joined by Taylor Made Otaku. You can find Taylor over on YouTube, and my Roman half Aaron, and normally the Shooting Star Sheriff, who you can also find over on YouTube. I think he's still playing Scarlet Nexus. But catch us next week where we debate the power of Nakama versus the power of friendship. Until next time, guys, keep watching anime, and so long.
Bye.
Sakura is so useless, she gave birth to a Uchiha, the